Good morning and welcome to Business Buzz. Coming up, the Nigerian exchange closed higher, adding over 1,300 points as investors book fresh gains. Dangote Refinery nears a $2.5 billion private placement, setting the stage for Africa's largest ever stock market listing. Five Nigerian banking groups may need almost 1 trillion naira in fresh capital under proposed central bank rules. And Apple overtakes Nvidia to reclaim its crown as the world's most valuable company. We're also joined by finance analyst and lecturer Dr. David Akau to break down Nigeria's growing debt profile. I am Louisa Asidi. Stay with us. Welcome back. Nigeria's debt trajectory in Nigeria's public debt profile is under fresh scrutiny, and joining us now to break it down is Dr. David Akau, a lecturer and also a finance analyst. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, Dr. Akau, I have a few questions. First of all, the federal government has secured about $11.4 billion in the World Bank loans over the past 3 years. And if you compare that with President Buhari's first term, when the government borrowed just over $5 billion in just 4 years, why do you think this is happening?
I think it's improper planning because first of all, before you decide to take a loan, you have so many things you want to do with that loan, or you have something you want to do with the loan. And you must first of all analyze it, what we call the cost-benefit analysis, to make sure that the reason for which you collect this loan is achieved. And so if you take loan and people don't see the reason for that loan, then the question will arise, why did you take the loan in the first instance?
Okay.
So I feel that it's lack of proper planning, because we have all it takes to have money. Every country takes loan time to time, but you must be able to have a need for it. And it is quite wrong to take loan just because you want to do something that will not give you the leverage of paying back the loan through the investments that you incurred using that loan for it. So it's actually an issue of wrong placement of priorities.
Okay, using your answer now, what would you say about Nigerians spending more on foreign debt than on social services like health and education?
Yes, Nigeria right now spends about 20.1% of total revenue on foreign debt. And to start with, if you see the breakdown of the debt, you'll see that there's an issue. On health, they spend about 4.something% of total revenue. On education, same thing. One is 4.06, the other one is 4.40. If you look at it from the entire money that we pay, it means you now see the reason why our health sector is problematic, why our educational sector is problematic, why we do not produce things here. Because people need to have the knowledge before they are able to. You can't give what you don't have.
Exactly.
So if you don't have the knowledge, you can't give anything. So if you see the way the debt repayment is structured, you see that I think it is, as I said before, lack of proper placement. We don't take priorities on the vital things. Like health is very important. I mean, people are dying on a daily basis. There are sicknesses that you have today, and it's like a near-death syndrome. But if our health sector is put in place, people won't be going abroad to seek for health services. So also education. We import almost everything. And so if we ensure that the educational sector is proper, then some of these borrowings will not even take place in the first place.
So will I be wrong if I call this an imbalance? So what do you think?
Yes, it is actually, because if you take loan for things that won't develop the nation, we will agree that the nation is underdeveloped actually. And looking at the time that we've been trying to make sure that we grow from independence till date, it's like one step forward, three steps backward. So if we take loan, people should see it that, oh, Nigeria is getting better and not worse off.
So you mean that if Nigeria takes a loan, they should see it in the products they do, like good roads, good hospitals, good education.
Yes. And I must say also that when you take loan, you should invest in areas that will generate funds enough to repay the loan.
Okay, that's wonderful. Okay, what would you say about Nigeria spending $1 billion on foreign debt and also spending over 53% on interest rates when other things are still not in place? What would you call this debt service?
It's a dilemma for us. As long as we keep collecting loans, it's simple, we will keep servicing the debt. The percentage will keep increasing. And it is at the detriment of the citizenry. Take, for example, 1.9% on wages. I mean, whereas the African average is about 7.5%. UK is doing 15%. I mean, it's quite poor. And that is why people are running away from the nation. So we need to have a proper balance, as you said. I mean, that's what it is.
Yes, Nigeria has to make a proper balance.
Yes.
Not just focusing on foreign debt or like interest rates. Focus on trying to develop your country. That's what you're saying, right?
Definitely.
Okay, so what would you say is an alternative policy to reduce the debt risk that is affecting key projects right now? What do you say about it?
Local production.
Okay.
Let's have most of our items produced here in Nigeria. Let's think about producing items that is exportable. And we have them. We have the raw materials. We can make vehicles in Nigeria and export. We can repair our refineries and bring up policies that, we can give individuals licenses to open refineries. And before you know it, we will generate all the income we need internally.
Okay, there was one time the Nigerian government decided to close the border, to allow local businesses come up with their things, thrive, but it didn't come out so well. What would you say about that? Because that was the government trying to do something. So what would you say about that?
You do not close border that for a set of people that don't have the adequate knowledge.
Okay.
You've not invested so much on vocational studies where people can have the knowledge to create things. That's one. Secondly, there are so many individuals outside there that are online trying to showcase their products. You see people building remote toy aircraft. You can pick these people, have a policy to grow them, send them abroad, teach them, let them learn the knowledge, come back, set them up, and you will see results. But you just close the border and nobody's ready for it yet. That was why instead of it, cushioning the effects of dumping, we call it dumping in economics.
Okay.
Yes, right, where you prefer imported items to local made. So instead of it to cushion that effect, people start buying local things. There were no local things to buy.
No local things to buy.
So,
what would you say about Nigerians' behavior to locally produced things? You see someone say, "Oh, I can't drive a car that was made by a Nigerian." What would you say about that?
That is the same thing China suffered.
Okay.
But if you finance that part, and gradually people start seeing products that are genuine. China started with Torchlight. In fact, anything coming from China is like, no. But today, everybody is heading to China.
Yes.
Yeah. So give the people assurance that these products you are bringing are okay. People are already going for this man, I don't want to call his name, that produces car in Nigeria.
Okay.
They're already going for him, and they are buying his cars. I'm seeing them, no, not so much, but I'm seeing them everywhere for now. And I know that if they have the raw materials everywhere, the product, raw materials to repair those items, I mean, people will go for it. If it's fuel, you can use less fuel using it, adopting it, then fine, people will go for it. But if I buy a product that, if I buy a second-hand product abroad, the usage of fueling will be better than buying a new product in Nigeria. Then, so it's just a matter of, one, the way Nigerians reason, two, the quality of the products we have here in Nigeria.
Okay. You said something about empowering the local industries.
Yes.
I think there was a time, or there are still times right now, the federal government, not just the federal government, the state government, they have done things, to bring out programs to empower youth, to empower people that don't really have much. Some people take it seriously. Some people don't take it seriously. And some people, when they take it seriously, when they go for the programs, they find that according to them, they feel like it's a scam. What would you say about that?
Okay, first and foremost, sincerity is paramount. If you want to empower people, call them. Let them tell you what they want to do. And look at what they've produced. At least they should have something that shows that this person has the technical know-how. Once you see that this person can do it, that is when you start empowering the person. Not just, okay, want to empower 20 people and everybody comes out and you are giving them certain amounts. It will result to nothing. So the issue is that you don't assess them, appraise them before you now start giving out money.
Okay, so you're trying to say that if they're empowered, they will do something good,
Definitely.
right? So would you say that with this empowerment and with everything that's going on, the Nigerian debt problem will be resolved?
It will reduce drastically, if not, to 0%. Yes, because we will have locally produced things, we will sell, we will export. So our foreign exchange, naira to dollar, will be competitive. And that's what we want.
So the goal is to raise our naira to at least just be higher to a particular point.
Not just be higher. Sometime in the 1980s, it was 1 naira to $1. We can still get there.
And if we get there, the debt issue will be resolved, right?
Definitely.
Okay. Do you have anything you would want to say to the government, or something you would think could be a solution to this debt crisis that we are having at this moment?
My sincere appeal to the federal government is to look at local production. Look at local production. We have the raw materials, we have the technical know-how. Go to Oka, see what they produce. Go to Aba, see what they produce. I mean, you will just know that we have it. Sometimes I go to repair my cars, and you see what Nigerians do, even here in Mbuka, here in Onitsha. See what they do with your vehicle. I begin to wonder. They change your vehicle even in your before your very presence, and you are wondering. So if you bring these people together and show them that there's a light at the end of the tunnel, they will come, they will believe you, they will trust you. And when they start making the money, make sure that they are also satisfied. I'm telling you, in less than 3 years, if we go this route, Nigeria will be better off.
Oh, that's a very wonderful note. Thank you so much, Dr. David Akau, for joining us for this time.
Thank you very much.
We're going on a quick break, and when we come back, we'll turn to the markets. Welcome back. We begin with the markets where the Nigerian exchange closed higher on Friday. The all-share index added 1,316 points, a gain of just over 0.5%, to end the day at 243,462 points. First Holding Company led the gainers, up nearly 10% to 95 naira 95 kobo, followed by HM Call and Living Trusts. On the losing side, Red Star Express paced the decliners, down 9.5% to 20 naira. Now to the biggest story in African capital markets. Aliko Dangote has nearly completed a $2.5 billion private share placement for the Dangote Petroleum Refinery ahead of what is expected to be Africa's largest initial public offering. The sale of a stake of up to 6% values the Lagos-based refinery at around $40 billion, and demand reached about $4 billion, far more than the shares on offer. Now to the biggest story in African capital markets. The public listing could raise a further $1.5 to $2 billion and is expected as early as August, subject to market conditions and regulatory approval. Proceeds are earmarked to double the refinery's capacity from 700,000 barrels per day to 1.4 million by 2028, a listing that could reshape the Nigerian exchange itself. Staying with finance, 5 Nigerian banking holding companies may need to raise a combined 972 billion naira in equity to comply with the central bank's proposed capital rules. Access Holdings faces the largest requirement at over 656 billion naira, nearly half its market value, followed by First Holding Company, FCMB, and Guarantee Trust and Stanbic IBTC. The final figures will depend on how the regulator treats capital release when banks downgrade international licenses to national ones. For shareholders, that means another round of rights issues may be on the horizon. It's time now for a break. We will be back in a moment. Let's talk about digital assets. President Bola Tinubu has signed an executive order on virtual assets, establishing a virtual asset council chaired by the central bank, with the Nigerian Revenue Service and the Securities and Exchange Commission as vice chairs. The order responds to a fragmented regulatory environment that has exposed the country to fraud, money laundering, and revenue losses. Securities-related activity will be registered by the Securities and Exchange Commission, while payments, custody, and settlement fall to the central bank, which is also proceeding with a regulatory sandbox. For one of the world's most active crypto markets, this is the clearest rulebook yet. Now to the energy market, where Nigerian fuel importers are facing tighter margins as rising international petrol prices and higher freight costs collide with the Dangote refinery's pricing as it continues to limit import opportunities. Gasoline prices in Lomé have climbed above the refinery's sales prices, executively shortening the arbitrage window into Nigeria, according to S&P Global Commodity Insights. Also, freight rates from Europe to West Africa have jumped to over $37 per metric ton, from under $30 at the end of June. Until these costs ease, the pressure on importers are set to continue. Meanwhile, Nigeria's tax revenue jumped 49% in the first 5 months of the year, reaching 15.8 trillion naira, up from 10.6 trillion in the same period last year. Oil-related taxes rose more than 20%, while non-oil revenue climbed over 20%, as the new tax laws that began effect in January begin to bite. Also, the government has issued transition guidelines to ensure the new tax acts are not applied retroactively. This means that the reform is meant to be predictive, not punitive. It's time now for another break. Stay with us. Welcome back. Let's look at the growing backlash in the Nigerian local industry. Rice processors, automobile makers, and tractor manufacturers met lawmakers in Abuja this week to protest on cheap imports, which they say are undermining billions of naira in local investors. Innoson Chief Innocent Chukuma urged the National Assembly to make government procurement a tool for industrialization, calling for local manufacturers to be given first consideration. This dispute calls to the heart of policy, whether Nigeria protects its factories or its customers' prices, and whether it can do both. Meanwhile, the government is betting on a comeback for textiles. The Federal Ministry of Industry has unveiled plans for a complete overhaul of struggling textile assets, with Kaduna's Kakuri hub listed as a key site for revitalization. Officials say the plan aims to create mass employment, cut imports, and boost exports, with financing discussions underway with the Bank of Industry and the Bank of Agriculture. Kaduna was once described as the Manchester of Nigeria, supplying textiles across West Africa, a legacy the state hopes cheaper gas power can restore. Now to a stark economic warning from Nigerian lawmakers. Nigeria is losing an estimated $2.5 billion every year to malnutrition through lower productivity, rising healthcare costs, and diminished human capital, according to World Bank data cited by lawmakers. Around 32% of children under 5 are stunted, and regulators are under pressure to pass the National Nutrition Bill and ensure approved budgets are actually released. It's time now for one more break. Still ahead, some news from across the continent. Welcome back. Now for some African news. Botswana is considering whether to pursue control of the diamond giant, De Beers. Angola American has chosen a preferred buyer for its stake in De Beers, a group called the Global Diamond Consortium, with Botswana weighing whether to exercise its right of first refusal alone, with the bidder or alongside a third party. Botswana expects the deal to conclude in the final quarter of this year, ending a sale process triggered by collapsing diamond prices and the rise of synthetics. In South Africa, a vote of confidence in local manufacturing. Toyota has started pilot production for its new generation Hilux pickup in Durban, which is part of a 10.4 billion rand investment program, roughly $634 million. The company is targeting annual production of about 140,000 units, including exports to Europe and across Africa. Now to global affairs. Chinese President Xi Jinping has positioned China as an artificial intelligence partner to the global south, announcing 5,000 AI training opportunities for developing countries over 5 years, and deeper cooperation with blocs, including the African Union. He warned against placing one country's security above others, a thinly veiled reference to African export controls. For African economies weighing their AI future, the courtship has clearly begun. And finally, to Wall Street. Apple has surpassed Nvidia to reclaim its title as the world's most valuable company, trading at a market value of $4.88 trillion. Apple shares have surged 22% this year as investors reward its AI spending plans, while Nvidia has gained just 7%. This is a changing of the guard at the very top of the global markets and a reminder that in the AI race, fortunes can turn quickly. This is all for Business Buzz today. I am Louisa Asidi. Thank you for watching.